Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way show. I know it is a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and I have been gone a lot. I know some of you get mad at me. I don't do shows enough, and I should. My team gets mad at me too all the time. Why aren't you doing more shows? I should be doing more shows. You're right. I just have to work and stuff. So, but I am here today, and I'm here today after being away, believe it or not, at a Bitcoin convention last week, where both Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. spoke. So that was kind of cool. Met lots of people, friends that I've known in Nashville. And then the week before that, or 2 weeks before that, I was actually at Freedom Fest. So yes, all over the place. So I have been everywhere, all over the place, and trying to follow up and fix things and do all the things from that. But I am now back chatting with you all, as I do often. So I know you're saying to yourself, Larry, I miss you. I know you do. I miss you too. There's a way you can make that better for both of us. You can click the button that is like. You can do that. And now all is forgiven. See how easy that is? Do that, and life is good. I would appreciate it. If you hadn't been watching on Twitter, then please retweet if you would. It's awesome to do. I do love it if you could do it. The like button does matter. So I do want to bring up a specific thing here. Tonight's stream is going to be a little bit New York centric. Now, I know for those of you who watch my Tuesday radio show at 1 p.m., which wasn't me. It just, they didn't do a show yesterday. So it was not me. That was the show. It wasn't done. We'll be back on next Tuesday. I tend to be very New York focused on that show. But this Sharpe Way evening show, usually not. Usually I'm a bit more broad based. But in this case, I think it does matter. The specifics of New York in this show are going to affect you and others. And it's the idea of being afraid. What so many people don't get at the core, most of the things that you don't like about our government, most of the things that you don't like about our country have come because of one thing, and that is afraid Americans. When Americans are afraid, we give up our rights, we give up our freedoms so we can feel like we're safer, even though we're not any safer. But we do that often. I think that's happening now. And I want to bring up a specific gentleman. He has been very popular recently, exploding in popularity. His name is Cass Jordan. The link to watch his stuff is in the description. If you're going to watch his YouTube page, please feel free to watch his stuff if you want to, without my comments. Of course, it's not good without my comments, but please enjoy anyway. He's got almost 1 million subscribers, very popular. He's a former, I don't know if he still is, but he was a real estate guy. And now he talks about what's happening in New York City often. Generally speaking, he's negative. I get it. I live in a city. He's right. But I think he's gone to a point where now he's not just reporting what's happening. He's now deciding that he knows what's right. And boy, what he knows is right is real authoritarian. And you might say, wait a minute, Larry, New York become authoritarian? What? No, even worse. Even worse. You didn't think it could be worse. You're like, no way, it could be worse. And let me show you. I don't know him personally. Maybe one day he'll chat with me and I'll tell you. But what I believe that he does care and he wants to fix things. I believe that's true. I think he has gone to a road that is not good. And here's why I'm saying it. With 250,000 views on many of his videos, a lot of New Yorkers are believing him. A lot of New Yorkers are right on board. A lot of New Yorkers are going to follow him into a worse authoritarian world than we already are. So I'm going to show you a bit of that video and chat about that and see. And I'll give you my comment. How about that? There we go. I'll do what I always do. I'll give you interesting, at least I hope interesting comments. I'll give you some interesting comments and we'll see what's going on. And here we go.
So this operation was happening pretty much under everyone's noses, right in the middle of a residential area. It was also supplying other illegal smoke shops in the city. NYPD officers.
So places like this convenience store, which is now shut down, aren't exactly selling candy. Now, some are selling millions of dollars of items that are as illegal as they are dangerous. And even though the...
Now, there is the point. Now, I've been talking to you about this happening in New York City. I'm not joking when I use this number, over 10,000 illegal smoke shops in New York City. That's not New York State. That's just New York City. Over 10,000 illegal smoke shops. And you might go, wait a minute, Larry, I thought weed was legal in New York. That's funny. New York is legal. I'm sorry, weed is legal in New York if you are some of the cronies who have been deemed appropriate to get a license to sell, then yes. But like for the average guy or gal who lives in the local neighborhood, who already was a weed dealer and now wants to have a store and sell his weed, no. In fact, Kathy Hochul, our governor, and Mayor Adams, our mayor, have gone out of their way to just slaughter and attack these places like there's no tomorrow, to devastate them. After admitting, I did a show on this about a couple of months ago, that their system does not work, that you have to wait months upon months and pay rent while you're waiting for up to 8 months. I'm not joking. That's real. That's a thing. They said it. You have to wait months paying rent in New York State, not being able, in New York City, not being able to sell anything, but just paying rent for up to 8 months before you get your license. A place like this is at least $6,000 a month, if not 10 or 12. So you're going to pay 12 grand, 10 grand a month for 8 months without selling a thing. I haven't even stocked my store yet. That's how our system works. I wonder why it's broken. Oh, because that. Now, but the point is, what did he say? He said these things are illegal as well as dangerous. They're not. That is the lie that he now believes. And I brought this up before. People say, oh my God, people are dying of cannabis. Nobody is dying of cannabis. That's not a thing. That's made up. That's not happening. If there was even one death from cannabis in New York City, they would be talking about that all day long, 24/7. They'd have their family outside crying, the guy died of cannabis, whatever. You can guarantee that would happen. Nobody's dying of it. He's just making it up because he heard it. He's not making it up, that's exaggerating. He's just repeating the lie that the government has been saying for literally months. So now, like, these are now the bad guys. The guy who runs the Zara smoke convenience store is probably a legal immigrant, usually legal immigrants, who've come here and trying to make money. Or they're people who live locally trying to make money. These generally aren't people who own something, and live like in Connecticut. All of the franchises, like the Subways and McDonald's, many of those people live in Connecticut or live in Jersey. But these people don't. It just doesn't exist. Morgan brings up perfectly. He says, fentanyl-laced weed is a myth purported by government to make sure you buy legal weed. 100% true, Morgan. Yes, that's not a thing. It just isn't a thing. It's made up. Think about this. Before it was legal, well, legal in quotes, people were still doing weed. Lots of it. They were just selling it outside. That's what they were doing it. Literally, you had an app in New York City that a guy with a bike would come by and drop off your weed. I'm not making it up. That's real. Probably still exists. I don't know if it does, but it used to at least, right? Let me get my weed, pop up, boom, done. Where were all the deaths there? There were none. There were none. So here we go.
Mayor and most New Yorkers want stores like this gone.
Not true at all. He says the mayor and most New Yorkers want these stores gone. 100%. Again, not true. That he just made up. The mayor wants them gone. That's true, because his cronies pay big bucks to get their monopoly, right? So if I'm paying for my monopoly, I bought my city council. I bought my assembly. All right, I pay good money for these guys, so they better deliver. That's how he's talking about. So yes.
Demand for their products is so high that once one gets closed, 2 or 3 others pop up.
Now look at what he just said. Most people don't want this. But the demand is so high that when one goes down, 2 or 3 pop up. Somebody wants this. So most New Yorkers don't want this. But the demand is so high, he said it, that 2 or 3 pop up. I got a feeling New Yorkers want this.
In its place.
It was the community that tipped off police to this multi-million.
Another lie. It was not the community. They're making tons of money off the community because they want this. The community tipped off. A Karen tipped them off. And they're going, the community, because the media is playing the same game. If you look at what it says underneath there, it says the bus nets $1 million in marijuana and mushrooms. $1 million. One store. Nobody wants this. What? Decriminalize it. Tax it like anything else. No special taxes. And look at how much money you make. Just tax it like anything else. Just don't have a special law. You could regulate it, I don't know, like onions or something like that. You could just do it. Let them sell it like any other product. Get your regular sales tax. New York State, the tax you pay on anything in New York State is like 8.75, almost 9%. Take your 9% and walk away. You get 9% in sales tax in my state. Just take your 9%. It's not enough. Not enough. I got to have my cops come in and bust these guys. But wait a minute. Don't we have a crime spree? Don't we have a crime spree in New York? Not violent crime. Violent crime in New York has gone down. But robberies? Isn't that going up? So where should we put our cops? On this, where there is literally no victim. Let me say that one more time. Where there is no victim.
$1 million operation. City sheriffs and the NYPD went in and found a back room.
Among the items seized were a printing press, fake labels, edibles, chemicals.
Weed gummies, vape pens, marijuana flowers, and none of it is legal. It's one of the...
And none of it's legal, but where are the deaths? I'm looking on the street there. Where are the dead bodies? I don't see any. Hold on, over there. No dead bodies. Because it's illegal, that's why you have to all of a sudden punish people. These are people trying to make cash. They're trying to make money. Why are they doing this? They're doing this because they're trying to make money in a city that's dying. So instead of you helping them, you're literally making things worse.
Largest cannabis bust New York City sheriff's deputies have ever seen.
Colossal waste of time and money.
Backpack boys.
The child ever found this, they wouldn't think twice about eating it.
These inspections have become much more common.
Oh, now it's all because kids are eating it. Stop.
Since
Stop.
May, after Mayor Adams lobbied the state to raise the fines and give the sheriff authority to padlock.
So wait a minute. Hold on. I see now. I'm so surprised. I am so surprised that all of a sudden the mayor decides that he wants to raise the fines. So they now turn this into a profit center, the way they always do it. Now you would think that's a bad thing, right? No, they love it. It is literally a profit center now. Oh, wait. So now not only can we tax the hell out of the few people that we give our monopoly to, that they, of course, gave us money, but now anyone who doesn't do what we say, we can now make money off them. It is now a profit center, the norm. This is how New York State works. You might go, liar, that's not my state. It's coming soon.
Block an unlicensed cannabis shop on the spot.
It looks like candy. It looks like things that my kids play with.
It makes me very, very angry. And I'm very curious about what's going to happen and how they're going to shut this down.
Okay. Could they not have done this before? Have they not done this before? They have. Haven't we seen candied flavored alcohols? Haven't we seen candy flavored vodka? Haven't we seen candy flavored wine coolers? Because guess what group of people likes candy and candy flavor? Everyone. Everyone. The sweet cereals, the sugary cereals, adults eat that as much as kids do. In fact, there's been studies that show that millennials eat more of all of the groups, more than Gen Z. Yes, Gen Z eats less sugary cereals than millennials. So this is just something they make up. It is not crazy.
To protect the children.
This store slides in the back room.
Oh, now they're going to protect the children. The propaganda is insane. But this is CBS News. Propaganda, nothing but propaganda. And sadly, Cash is like, yeah, I'm in with the propaganda. What we don't forget, what we're forgetting is people were selling weed before this. They act like nobody sold weed until it was legal. No, they've been selling weed in New York for what? Several hundred years? I don't know how long it is, but a long time, surely decades. It is insane. Andrew says, thank you, Andrew. I'm Gen Z and I don't like sugary cereals. Yes, statistically, millennials like sugary cereals more than you. That's how it works. Honey Bunch of votes for me. Yes. That's the data. I'm giving you actual data. And they're giving you, But the children.
And we climbed through.
You can see that somebody might be residing in that location. And then we found this. You can tell this isn't just like a random store. The way that they're set up, they're selling volume.
Yes. Oh, now it is listen, this is great. Drug dealing delis are invading New York City. Can you make this any more fear-mongering? Can you make this any more fear-mongering than this? Drug dealing delis, they're coming for your kids. Dun, dun, dun. Wow. Like, wow. So now we got to, if it wasn't for the Office of Cannabis Management, the cops will save us now.
New York has declared all-out war on the hundreds of illegal convenience stores now operating in this.
Look, 9 men in custody. So they grab $1 million worth of property, whatever that is. So let's say they paid a third of that. I'm making that up because they're always going to exaggerate it so they can sound better. So let's say it's 300 grand worth of the stuff. So they confiscated $300,000 worth of stuff in the Bronx, because the Bronx is a wealthy area with stop. It's not. It's the poorest county in the entire state. The Bronx is the poorest county in the entire state. So they took it away from them, and now they're going to put them in jail because that'll solve the problem. Because you know what always works? More arrests. Never fails. Arrest more people, never fails. There we go. That's what they're doing right now.
City. But what nobody's talking about is that these drug dealing delis, they're the logical progression of crime in a city that doesn't punish anybody for anything. And
see, the city doesn't punish anybody for anything. He literally said that. I'm glad he's not exaggerating. The city doesn't punish anybody for anything. He just showed there were 9 people in jail and they took $1 million worth of stuff, but the city doesn't punish. He just showed them locking it. There's a lock right there. They're destroying somebody's business. A family now isn't going to eat now, but the city doesn't punish anybody for anything. Yeah, I think he's a little bit of exaggerating, perhaps. If you agree with me, do me a favor, click the button that is like. Yes, I threw that one in because it does matter. You're watching on Twitter, retweet this right now. If you want to, you can always super chat me if you want to on YouTube. You can become a member if you want to also. But no matter what, click that like button. Every little bit does matter. Alrighty.
These are just a new form of the out-of-control crime rising up in every aspect of our life here in New York. We see it at our stores with our shoplifting epidemic. We see it on our streets with our gun crime epidemic.
So wait a minute. We have a gun crime epidemic. We don't. Shoplifting epidemic. We do. That's true. Shoplifting is an epidemic. That's true. Gun crime, not epidemic, but still just bad. It's true. Yes. So wait a minute. We can't. Look at the sign. It's a gun-free zone. There can't be crime in a. Can there be gun crime in a gun-free zone? Why don't we just make them all crime-free zones? I should have been mayor. But no, the reality of it is that's a problem. He's right. So why then are we pushing to stop these guys from selling stuff that clearly people want? Clearly they do. They want it. Instead of stopping people from shoplifting, which people don't want, right? Local people don't want shoplifting. The stores don't want shoplifting. But local people want to buy the weed, and the stores want to sell the weed. So that's what we're stopping? You know why? There's money in the fines. See, here's the issue. You always have to do things that will punish people who are law-abiding citizens. I'm not joking. You do that because that's a profit center. If you just punish the hardcore criminals, that's not a profit center. They just go to jail. So you got to punish people who can afford to pay fines.
And now when you go to buy an ice cream at the corner store, you may also have the opportunity to buy something that's much, much worse for you. And could
much, much worse for you. So ice cream versus weed is much, much worse for you.
Even wind you up in the hospital, because although there are certain substances you can sell in this city with all of the proper paperwork, only a very small number of places have it. And there are other places like this little place right here that when it's open, they could be selling just about anything. And these.
So the libertarian in me wants to jump out of my skin right now, because you can sell it if you have the paperwork. That makes it safe. If you just have the paperwork that makes it safe. He said that. But this could be worse. It's worse. So I'll say it again. Where are all the deaths? I don't see them. I haven't heard about them. There are 8 million people in New York City buying millions. There aren't hundreds. There's hundreds of delis, but there's over 10,000 legal stores selling weed. Every one of them probably has $1 million, right? That one did. Probably others do also. So that's tens of millions, it's billions of dollars of weed going around New York City. There should be dead people laying in the streets everywhere. But there's not, huh? That's weird. That's so dangerous.
These places aren't just selling grass. Some of them are full-blown street pharmacies, literally hiding in plain sight near schools, apartments. It's a disaster.
They're near schools. See? Because here's how it works. If your kid wants to buy drugs, this is how it works. If it's not near the school, he won't buy it. He won't. He won't walk like 2 blocks. He will not do it. If the drugs your kid wants is not literally next to the school, he doesn't buy it. That's how that works. Why was that stupid? And then just go on the phone and they'll get delivery. This idea of, well, it's near this, it's near school. What's wrong with you? It's a store. The worst part is most of these stores are actually better at making sure kids don't buy than a dealer on the street. That's true.
Plus, these are a black hole of doom for the neighborhoods they're in, as once one.
It's a black hole of doom. Jesus Christ, Cash. Tell us how you really feel.
Store turns criminal. It's going to make so much money that the other stores nearby will be tempted to follow along, which sadly just brings more crime into these neighborhoods. And
okay, why is there crime in the neighborhood? Because you made it illegal. So let me ask you, where are all the robberies of these stores? There aren't any. Not just that. Where are all the gang fighting and shooting in these stores? Didn't say that. Where's all the robberies? They're at CVS and other stores. Yeah, because these guys, because of the crime, will defend their stores. You go into that store, take that, unless you have a badge, obviously, because now you have magic powers. But unless you have a badge, you go into that store, you could probably get stabbed or shot. Yes, the crime exists because you made it illegal. That's why it's criminal. But otherwise, there's nothing there, right? Joe says it perfectly. I was going to rob a store, but then I got high. See? Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, that is an issue that is absolutely just garbage.
Delis, they already sell stuff that's not good for you. Candy, snacks, chips, but drugs. Those are the perfect product for a place that wants to hook you so you become a repeat customer. That's their business.
Oh, so that's what it is. They're selling drugs because they want to hook your kids to be repeat customers. What's this, 1980? Did he just hang out with Nancy Reagan? Stop. Jesus Christ. Stop.
Business model after all, and once one store starts, the others have to follow along or they're going to go.
See, that they should be regulating the Twix and the Starburst because that's just killing you and you can't buy those. And you know what? You know what'll work well? Here's what's going to work well. You worried about weed. You should worry about the food too because all bad. He's right. We should regulate everything and then the government should decide exactly how many Doritos you can buy, how many Twix you could buy, how many Starbursts you could buy. You'll be good. That's how it works. Michael has the answer. Dorito free zone. Done and done. We have solved the problem. Let's make a Twix free zone too, and a Starburst free zone, a candy free zone, and everybody will be skinny, I guess, right? Is that how that works? Or healthy? I don't know. Whatever. Yes. You know, Michael, does it really matter? No. Let's just pass more laws so we can arrest people and find them, and who cares if it works? Because once we start finding people for Twix and Starburst, that's a big deal right there. That is a big deal. I completely agree. Yes, that's good. Joe's like, Doritos can be addicting, though. You're not wrong, Joe. You're not wrong. Absolutely. Yes.
Out of business. But that brings us to the real reason why there's now a massive crackdown targeting these illegal businesses. Regular New Yorkers, they don't want them in their neighborhoods. Absolutely not. And what they enable is a sea of substances.
So regular New Yorkers don't want them in the neighborhood. Okay, if that's true, assuming that's true, number one, why are there 10,000 throughout the entire? Why are there 10,000 throughout the entire city? They don't want them. Number one. Number two, why'd they vote for it? Right. Number three, why is demand so high? You said once one goes down, three pop up. How is that a thing? It's not. This is absolutely not true.
To flow into our streets, attracting not only criminals, but also possibly getting into the hands of young people, hurting neighborhoods in ways nobody anticipated. But as you're
so getting in the hands of young people and hurting neighborhoods, how no one, we've been selling weed in New York City for literally decades. This is not a new thing at all. So what are you talking about? Why? This is not a new thing at all. He's basically saying, we got to stop it, put everybody in jail.
You're about to see, as the police shut them down, they just come back, not only because they're making millions of dollars breaking the law.
Boo, they're making millions of dollars. Local business owners in New York City are making millions of dollars. We can't have that. We have to make sure that only the wealthy people and the cronies make money. Are you crazy? What are you talking about? Oh, it's because money. That's all. They're keeping their business alive. There's people who work in those stores.
But also because they're making the products they sell inside the stores themselves.
Oh, not that. Can you imagine that? All right, my New Yorkers are in here tonight, and they're bringing up cool stuff. So, yes, New York City doesn't know about Stewart's. That's true. Stewart's is upstate. By the way, Stewart supported my run. The family supported my run in 2018 and 2022. Just to be clear, Morgan, they did. So, yes, absolutely. So, but yes, Burn Dairy, absolutely. Yes, correct. Also out there in upstate New York, 100%. Yes, not in New York City, though. That's true. Neither of those are in New York City. Correct. But if you travel the state, you do figure it out. Absolutely. So, sorry, my New Yorkers were in the chat.
So here we have your typical busy street corner in Manhattan. We've got delis all over the place, convenience stores, as some people call them. And some of these convenience stores, they look very legitimate. Some of them don't look very legitimate. I was just inside this one. They're not doing anything wrong in here. But until the...
Oh, I'm glad you have decided. Whew. Cash is on. He's on the scene. We are good. Not doing anything in there. Like that. Okay, now we're good. I'm happy that Cash is on the scene.
Police raid some of these places. There's no real way to know if the sign out front is just...
So he wants them to raid places. He just said that. But look, that's during the day. Next to the smoke shop is, what do you see? Something out of business. Yeah, they had a 70% off sale. Why? They were going out of business. Yeah, all over New York City. All over New York City, they were going out of business. So they're trying to survive on this, which obviously is demand, and he's like, no.
Marketing or an actual indication of what's being sold inside?
Bodegas are the cornerstones of many New York City communities, but this one was selling a whole lot more than food, coffee, and over-the-counter items.
Okay.
Authorities allege Family Deli dished out illegal edibles, pre-rolls, magic mushrooms, and colorful...
So on the outside, this place, which had over $1 million of illegal substances inside of it, looked like...
Oh my God, $1 million of illegal substances. Now, are they really illegal substances? No, they're not. The substances aren't illegal. You may sell them. You simply have to have the paperwork to sell them. So the substances themselves are not illegal. It is the selling of them that's illegal. It's the owning of them that's illegal. That's the part. The substances, he tries to make it like, just stuff that it's killing people. Oh my God. Phil brings up, he says raw milk. Yes, raw milk. Yeah, that's actually also illegal to sell. You can't sell raw milk in New York because New York deems it so, 100%. So he's lying. The substances are not illegal. The idea is he can't sell it. That's the part. So that the action is illegal, which is stupid and should not be at all illegal.
Your average convenience store selling sandwiches, selling candy, selling chips. It even marketed itself as being family oriented. Yet the real products they were selling destroy families. But the first...
The real products they're selling destroy families. Cash, can you give me any evidence to what you just said? No, because you just made that up. And be very clear, he just made that up. Just because somebody smokes weed doesn't mean your family's destroyed. If you want to destroy your family, you absolutely can do it without weed. You don't have to have any weed at all, and you can trash your family any day of the week. Not required. Not required at all. He made that up. This is just fear-mongering, and about 250,000 people watch this going, oh my God, he's right. He's not.
Next question this raises is how on earth is this being allowed to happen? How did we get to a point where physical stores now sell illegal products?
What? How did we get to this point where people in New York City were selling weed? That's never happened before, ever. We have never sold weed in New York City until now. How did we get there?
Shouldn't be able to set up a physical business on the side of the...
See, a physical business. Why does that matter? This is just him picking words. It's a physical business. So what if it wasn't? What if it was a guy on a bike, which is what it used to be? Is that better now? What if it's a guy on a bike next to, I'm going to say it, a playground? What? What if it was a guy on a bike next to a playground? Used to be that. But now they're in physical stores. Oh my God. This makes no sense at all.
The street that sells things that are dangerous to random people who walk in the door.
Dangerous to random people who walk in the door. So there's got to be a special kind of person who can come in and buy weed. Or is it to buy the candy? Are you authorized to buy candy? I don't think you are. You have a license to buy candy. You have a license to sell Doritos. You're not some random person when to go in and buy Doritos. How dare you, random person, buy Doritos without the New York State license? What is he talking about? This is the reason why this video got me so bothered is it's just a propaganda piece.
But that's exactly what was happening. That's what is happening at any of these businesses, even maybe this little place right here. But
every place, they're everywhere. Everyone's selling weed that's killing children and destroying families. Run! That's what he's saying. It could be anywhere. In fact, it is everywhere. What?
Problem is these places, they bring crime and other consequences with them into the neighborhood. And how couldn't they? To run an illegal business, you have to become a criminal. And that means...
See that? To run an illegal business, you have to become a criminal. You will obey the law no matter how stupid the law is. Wow. They bring crime. They don't bring crime. That's not a thing. Again, he made that up.
You start dealing with criminals, and a lot of the people buying your products, they may very well be criminals themselves. But
oh my God. Wait a minute, no. If someone buys your product, to your point, they are literally criminals, aren't they? They're buying your illegal substance from a random person or whatever else you said. So they're all criminals. So literally, if I go in and buy some weed product that I want, some edible or something, probably sweet flavored because people like sweet. So I do that. I'm clearly a horrible person who needs to be destroyed. Wow.
Maybe you're wondering why this place was marketing itself as a burger joint / convenience store instead of something else. Well, that's because businesses that make it a little too obvious are now getting padlocked and shut down by the sheriff's department.
Because that'll stop. See, that's the thing. If you use padlocks, all the weed will stop being sold. That'll happen. They just stop selling it. They'll just stop.
Was it ever in doubt that this place was selling stuff that they shouldn't have been selling? Probably not. And the logical explanation for why...
Okay, shouldn't be selling. Why? Because you made it impossible with your stupid cannabis laws. He doesn't talk about that at all. At all. Now, tell me what the logical answer. Tell me, my friend. What is this logical answer?
Places like this exist all over town. On the side of the street is simple. There just aren't enough people headed to prison for doing this. And once you see
that? Some of you are thinking, wait a minute, Larry. Haven't we had a war on drugs for about 50 years? Yes, we have. That's true. And didn't they say if we just arrested more people, it will go away? Yes, they did. Have they done this? No. So what's the answer? You might say to yourself, well, maybe we should rethink our war on drugs, or change our tactics, or target somebody else, or change our foreign policy, or any other thing you might think, right? Change our prison system, change how we deal with drugs, whatever. There are many ways. No. Cash has the answer. More people in jail. You've arrested literally millions of people. You have ruined the lives of millions of men, particularly. You have broken families like there's no tomorrow. What's the answer? A little bit more. A little bit more. That's his answer. Wow. So Phil brings up something. I wonder if he has a filming permit to produce content in New York City. What? I think he's a criminal, Phil. He's a criminal. But wait a minute, are we watching this? Oh my God, we're watching this. We're all criminals. If only more of us would go to jail, I think this would stop. That's the issue. Wow.
What's going on inside some of these places? You'll wish more people were.
Members of the New York.
If I just look at these places, see, people are buying drugs that they would like to have. Nobody's being shot. They're passing money back and forth. Local people making money. Yes, I would like more people in jail.
City Sheriff's Office went in to do an inspection, walked out with $1 million worth of illegal drugs. They found this door. The massive stash was hidden in a back storage room along with a tent, a light.
Why would it be hidden? Oh, because you made it illegal. That would be the reason. Don't make it illegal. It wouldn't be hidden. So you created the crime and they're surprised it's a crime. Kind of, yeah.
And heaters used to grow cannabis flower on site.
Interesting. So the local community ratted this place out. Good for them. But when police arrived.
Okay, 2 parts. Local community did not rat them out. Local community is buying all the product. Right? Again, let me be very clear. There are over 10,000 of these stores. People aren't traveling from Queens to Brooklyn to buy their weed. They're buying it locally. So that's wrong. Not just that. It's not good. A couple of Karens got mad and now people go to jail. A couple of Karens got mad and people lose their jobs. A couple of Karens got mad and now more families are broken. That's what's happening.
They found something out of a Hollywood movie. Secret rooms, instruments inside the facility to grow things and then enhance.
To grow things? What? So wait a minute. Okay. So if you want to grow a plant that you could sell, you'll have to have instruments to grow the plant. And you can't put them out because they're illegal. So you hide them in a secret room. He's just like saying what people do and acting like it's horrible. This is terrible.
It's their potency in ways that could really hurt somebody.
Where? They increase the potency so they could hurt somebody. When? Where? Yet you could, and you filming right there, you could have a tripod that somebody might trip and die. It could happen, but it isn't.
Terrible. And the supposed convenience store had boxes of stuff from across the world. Here's another one that's been shut down by the city, also on the side of the street. But the criminals that run these places are already on record saying that these shutdowns and seizures don't even matter to them, which has a...
Look at this. These criminals that run these stores. Wow, they don't even care. Wow.
A lot to do with why these places keep coming back as soon as they get closed and why they are now masquerading as legitimate businesses.
It is almost like, okay, stay with me on this one. It is almost like the war on drugs doesn't work. I know you're saying, Larry, stop. No. It's almost like the war on drugs doesn't work. It's almost like you can't arrest your way out of this. Huh. If only there was some way we could test that theory. If only there was some, I don't know, war on drugs or something like that we could maybe test and see if, like, over a course of many years, it would work or not.
This one store owner who was interviewed says that they are making so much money that even if the police take everything, they can earn it back in just a short period of time, and that they would even sell on a plastic folding table on the side of the street if their business got closed. And you know what that means? That means that person has no fear of going to jail. And a lot of times the penalties for this are just monetary, but these places are making plenty of that.
So the penalties are monetary. What does that mean? That means it's now a profit center. Yes, so New York City says, I have a problem. Problem is they got all these illegal stores. Now, why do I have illegal stores? And this is the reason why. Why do I have illegal stores? Because the way I regulated cannabis with my terrible Office of Cannabis Management made it virtually impossible to get a license legally. I'm not exaggerating. I did an entire show on it. Kathy Hochul admitted it, said it was a complete failure, but is giving no one any reprieve whatsoever. It's still punishing you. We screwed up. We made it impossible and go to jail. We screwed up. We made it impossible and pay us money with fines. That's what's actually happening. So they screwed up. We still have to pay. That's why it's a problem. If they had made it simple, I don't know, regular, like something like onions or something, whatever, then all of a sudden things would have changed.
Interesting thing is that nobody in the neighborhoods where these are located seem to want them to exist because...
Okay, nobody in the neighborhood, so he said, wants them to exist. Who's buying the weed? Imaginary people? They're coming in from Jersey? Who's buying the weed? No, it's his words. Nobody wants them to exist. But then he said demand is so big that when one goes down, three come up. He said that. He said demand is so big, the people don't care if they get arrested, they go back and do it again. He said demand is so big that they would sell on a folding table on the street. He said, and then they go, nobody wants this. Who's buying it? Clearly people want this. Clearly they want it.
The unlawful activity taking place at places like this is destroying communities all across the city.
It's destroying communities. That's what's destroying. Please show me any evidence of it destroying communities. He will have none, because there is none. The reality of it is the opposite. These smoke shops show up and there's jobs now. If you go around this city, what you will see often is a whole bunch of storefronts that are shut down. Those shut down storefronts, there are many of them. They're all shut down and those jobs are not coming back anymore. Now a smoke shop pops in. There's jobs again. It's not destroying. It's growing.
And that's because our current system of enforcement on these little places is what allows them to keep existing. And it's why the city itself.
It's the system that allows them. It's not the massive demand. It's not that. It's the system.
It's having such a hard time stopping them from showing up everywhere because they're allowed to open up. They're allowed to run their business. They're allowed to have the lights on and a lease. And
how dare people? What? How dare people be allowed to run their business, his words, allowed to keep the lights on? Oh, these people think, these privileged people think they get to have the lights on and are allowed to have a lease. What? You get to have a lease? Who the hell do you think you are? You get to have a business and have a lease and keep lights on. What are you, King of Spain? What's wrong with you? That's what this guy thinks.
Signage, and the only way the bad guys...
They get to have signage too? What is wrong? They get to have signage. Were we all kings?
Guys are going to get caught is when the neighbors call it in and complain, and enough complaints are generated that it brings a law enforcement response.
But hold on. Now that can't be true, Cash. It can't be true. You said it has to be enough complaints. I thought nobody wants this. I thought nobody wants this. There are parts of New York City where there are 60,000 people per square mile. I'm not joking. That's bigger than, that's more population than half of my counties across New York State in 1 square mile of New York City. 60,000 people. If nobody wants this, that should be about 10 minutes worth of calls, right? 10 minutes. Done. They should be closing every one of them. Boom, 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 boom. Because to his words, nobody wants this. No. There's some Karens who don't want it. And they got to call the precinct 7 times. They call every day at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's some people outside and they're smoking their evil weed. That person calls 25 times. The cops get tired and go, wait a minute. How much money we make this month? Oh, we short. Okay, let's bust a couple of these guys, make some cash. That's what actually happens, not what he's saying.
That's a terrible system, but that's not the only reason it's not working.
What else?
The Bronx raid comes on the heels of another bust in Brooklyn earlier this month. Authorities not only weeded out one of the city's largest unlicensed pot distributors.
Unlicensed pot distributors. Jesus Christ, that's murder him. Summary execution. Did they shoot him right there? I hope they just shot him right there.
But confiscated a printing press used to manufacture illegal labels there.
And they had illegal labels? I'm surprised they didn't literally just nuke the entire place. They literally had illegal labels. You guys all caught that. Ed is like, weeded it out. Yes. Mike's like, weeded it out. Everyone got that one. That was good. Yes. I think they were trying to be funny. It worked. It worked.
So the real issue here is that most of the time, the police are only shutting down the actual storefronts that sell these illegal products. Yes, some of these places make the...
Okay. So this... What? The problem is they just shut down the stores that sell us stuff. What are they supposed to do?
Illegal products inside, but most of it is coming from another location, another distributor, if you will, and that place is generally hidden, and the police have trouble finding them. And although we just had a $10 million drug bust inside of a nightclub that was near a few of these illegal convenience stores...
See, this is what you don't understand. Nobody wants this. No, his words. Nobody wants this. Nobody does. 10 million in one nightclub. But nobody wants, they're going to lose $10 million in that. Boy, those guys they're bad business people. They're going to get 10 million worth of stuff and just lose it all. Crazy. Nobody wants it.
This is the exception, not the norm. And even after these quote-unquote gift shops get shut down, if they are doing something that they shouldn't be, the reason they can come back so quickly is because all the infrastructure for them to exist is still out there. And this...
Yes. Why would there be infrastructure for this to exist? Could it be because people want the product? Could it be that the product itself is legal? The difference is only how you sell it. You have to sell it our way or you are a criminal. You must buy it our way or you are a criminal. Again, where are all the deaths? Nowhere.
It hurts and damages communities in more ways than anybody realizes.
See, it's damaging these communities more than anybody realizes. And you're doing it how? How?
Because now that you've got illegal operations operating in small little storefronts like this legitimate convenience store right here, the amount of money that a landlord can get for renting out a shop like that has just gone up. So now there's a financial incentive for that landlord to only work with criminals. And that's...
Okay, so hold on. Okay. If you do it legally, again, guys, if you think I'm making this up, I did a whole video on this. It's absolutely true. You have to get your lease, and then you can't sell anything or buy anything in that store until you have your license. So then I'm going to spend whatever thousands of dollars on this storefront, $6,000 a month, $8,000, whatever the number is, $6,000 a month on this, and I can't buy or sell anything until they approve me, and it takes 8 to 9 months to be approved. So why would I can't afford any rent. It isn't I would rather. I can't afford it because of your garbage system. But if I can buy and sell products, I can afford to pay rent. So that is what makes people, landlords, want to deal with these renters, because they can pay their rent because they can sell. Not just that, if I go to some guy doing it illegally, he can't even advertise. So it's just a boarded up store until eventually one day New York State gives him a license. But if I give it to the legal guy, he's selling next week. I have a vibrant storefront. It isn't because it's illegal. It's because it doesn't function. You force it to be illegal. What governments do wonderfully is create black markets or accentuate black markets. And yet again, New York has done exactly that. He is 100% wrong in what he's saying, and he's embarrassingly wrong in all of this.
It's going to take little stores like this that have existed for decades and force them out, force them to shut down, because the landlords can rent their stores to people who want to sell something other than products that help you clean yourself up. And don't get confused. These new businesses that are coming along, competing with places like this, they're not just selling stuff for you that's bad for you. It's so dangerous. It could wind someone up in the hospital. And they're...
What? It could wind people up in the hospital. Did you hear that? So there must be literally thousands of people going to the hospital every day. Oh, wait, no, there aren't. I'll say it again. There are, and these are not my numbers. These are the numbers I'm going to give you are Mayor Eric Adams' numbers, authorized by Kathy Hochul. I've done a show on this. These numbers you can look up yourself. There are over 10,000 illegal smoke shops in New York City. Over 10,000. According to Cash, they're destroying neighborhoods, killing people, going to the hospital. That's what he said. Well, if there's 10,000 of them, if 1 in 10,000 was bad, there's one person per day in the hospital. If it's 1,000, 10 a day. Right? Horrible. Phil says there's a Bud Light sign by him. Yeah, that puts you in the hospital. The Bud Light, that could put you in the hospital. Beer can put you behind the wheel and you could die. You could be killed by somebody. They'll kill somebody. That happens far more than someone dying of weed. That's not a thing. Eat too many, Twix, and you can have a heart attack. Whatever, right? Whatever. There's so many other ways of you hurting yourself than whatever. This is insane. He's just making this up.
Getting this garbage from the most unlikely of places.
It's garbage. Now it's garbage. You smoke weed? That's garbage. You're garbage, you smoke weed.
Places.
Look at all of these places that are out of business. What I just said. Look at all of them.
So here we are in a part of town, like many, that has a bunch of storefronts that nobody's using. They look...
Does he understand that he literally just makes my arguments for me? He doesn't, does he? Does he even care? I don't know. He makes my arguments for me.
Abandoned. They look like they might be renovated. Either way, there's tape over all the windows. You can't see inside. And one of these was being used as a stash house for a whole bunch of these illegal convenience stores.
It's one of the
illegal. He keeps saying the word, they're illegal. They're criminals. They're illegal. They're criminals. You know what? When the slaves escaped slavery, they were also criminals. I'm okay with it, though. Like, I'm okay with it. And if you didn't want to give the slave back, you were also a criminal. That was illegal activity. I'm kind of okay with it. I am. I'm okay with it. When you went and bought all those drugs from years ago that were killing people and dying and all the problems, and I mean legal drugs, right? All those problems having all those drugs that people were just dying of. Remember that one painkiller that was literally making kids have all kind of handicap issues when they came out, all kind of disabilities when they came out. Remember that? Back in the 80s, 90s, remember that? Yeah. All those things. Way more dangerous than all of this.
Largest cannabis bust New York City sheriff's deputies have ever seen. This warehouse full of weed gummies, vape pens, marijuana.
What? Weed gummies? Do you know how many people die every single day from weed gummies? Literally none. Not one. None. And people go to the hospital because of weed gummies every day? Literally none. Zero. Not one. He's got tons of them.
Flowers, and none of it is legal. Any idea where the product is coming from?
So the bust here happened about a month ago at a building that people thought was just a storefront nobody wanted anything to do with, but really it was something very different. The building was all taped off with fading paperwork, kind of like what you see right here. And
yeah, because the way for you to fix anything in New York City is so impossible. It will take you months to do anything because of our horrible, horrible system. So why bother? You can't make any money unless you're already a gazillionaire. And here's how this usually works. For those who don't know, when you have one building, one storefront, one thing, and you can't get anything done, you're devastated. You got to pay the fines, pay the rent, pay all those things. But when you own a series, you own several buildings, several properties, the case may be, You take all of those fines and fees at the end of the year and you negotiate them with the city. I'm not joking. So let's say it's me and I have one building and I'm in trouble and I owe $75,000 to the city. I got to pay that or they'll shut me down. I can't make any money. I'm in trouble. But what if I own 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 of them, as many large owners do? Well, I own 20 of them. Some of them are making money. Some aren't. Those that are stacking up on fines and fees, at the end of the year, say I own $500,000 in fines and fees. I go to the city, say, I owe you $500,000. I'll give you $100K. The city goes, okay, 20 cents on a dollar. I'm not joking. Happens every year. I give you $100K. Okay, fine. So the guy who owns 20 pays $100K. The guy who owns 1 pays 75. That's our current system. You've made a system to where this is encouraged and you wonder why it happens. You've created the system.
Tenants figured the landlord was just trying to get his act together so that one day it could be rented out to somebody else. But what it actually was a warehouse full of illegal products supplying the stores that either open specifically to sell illegal products or to the bodegas that get tempted to get involved in this kind of thing and then start selling something that's bad along with a hamburger. But you know why?
Something that's bad along with a hamburger. So the hamburger's fine, but the weed, that's the bad thing. Oh, right, it's bad because it's illegal. Sorry, because it's illegal.
The place got busted. Someone tried to break in, proving that these places are a magnet for criminal activity.
Someone tried to break in, 1. A person tried to break in, 1. Disproves they're a magnet for crime.
No matter what they are or where they are. Whoever was responsible for the break-in probably figured whoever was running the warehouse wasn't dumb enough to contact the police, but it could have been the landlord.
That's true, but they tried to break in and couldn't. Why? They don't call cops. What do they actually do? They shoot you. Yes, that's how that works. It's the black market. You have street justice. You made it to where they can't call the cops. Again, you've made it so they can't call the cops, so they don't call the cops. You have made their only option street justice. Therefore, there's street justice. You made a black market. Therefore, there's crime.
Lord, could have been somebody else in the neighborhood. Remember, neighbors hate these places. They're watching them.
Neighbors hate these places. $10 million in one place. But nobody wants it. Neighbors hate them.
That's really been the city's biggest defense from their existence in the first place. Because what they're selling is so dangerous, it could cripple a person.
It could cripple you. Okay, wait. First, you're dead. You're dead. It's killing you. That's number one. First, it's killing, right? That's number one. Then, all of a sudden, it was going to the hospital. Now it's crippling you. Damn. Where's all the hospital people who are getting crippled? I don't remember people getting crippled by weed ever. But now you're getting crippled now. Show me if this is true. Why aren't you showing me all of the people who are being crippled and being killed and all the kids who are dying, which he said. Remember the kids? They're selling the kids are getting killed. Where's that? All made up. Everything made up.
Some of it comes in from overseas that is completely illegal product. We don't even know what is in it. In fact, we saw this box labeled Made in China. The packaging is bright and colorful.
It looks like candy.
Jesus, it's made in China and it's colorful. That's got to kill you. That's got to kill you. Like, that's the end. Scratch it. It's over. Everybody in New York City's dead. I think we're all dead. I may be dead now. I mean, it's from China and has colors. Clearly, we're all going to die.
It looks like slime. It looks like, things that my kids play with.
It makes me very...
So it's not just that these places don't have licenses to sell something that...
It is just that, though, isn't it? I mean, it is just that, isn't it? Because then they don't have licenses. Yeah, it kind of is exactly that. Yes.
Naturally grows in the earth and then is tinkered with relentlessly by human beings to be as powerful as possible.
See, that's it. It is tinkered with by human beings to be as powerful as possible. No, it isn't. It is tinkered with so that the person gets what they want. Some people like it more powerful. Some people don't. So you give the people the product they want. If people want it, there we go. Joe says, I've used something that has colors from China. It's called a TV. And that's probably done more damage to you, Joe, than any weed would have done to you. That's probably actually more dangerous. So yes, I agree.
And as bad for you as possible. They're also mixing in all kinds of
and bad as possible
weird chemicals and substances that nobody has any idea what they are. And that.
So they what just said. They are mixing in all sorts of chemicals that nobody has any idea what they are. That's what he just said. Right? It's his words. So literally, there's people in some vat, and I'm like, hey, what's that? I don't know. Put it in. It's a substance. I don't know what it is. Put it in. What's that? I don't know. I don't know. Put it in. Nobody's doing that. Let me say it again. Nobody is doing that. If you had a store that could move $1 million, $1 million. If you could actually have a store that would sell $1 million of the product, why would you kill your customers? Why would you put random stuff you found in the street into it, which is what he just said? Why would you just grab some off the floor, put that in? Why would you do that? If you were a club, and in the club, he said, again, his words, $10 million worth of product. Why would you kill your customers? You have a $10 million business. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put here's some chicken. Put a chicken in. Why would you do that? He literally made that up, has no evidence of it, and is just fear-mongering. This is an embarrassment. Cash has said some good things in his videos in the past. This is an embarrassment. This makes him look stupid. This makes him look terrible. Absolutely not true whatsoever. Shelly says, I would love to have the $1 million industry in my neighborhood. They switched the neighborhood. Yes. Yes. If you had $1 million neighborhood, $1 million industry in your neighborhood, wouldn't you like that? Yeah. People are hiring things. Phil says, if you kill your customers, they keep coming back. I guess that's how it works. Zombies, that's what it... Phil, you have answered the question. It's zombies that are buying the weed. That's what it is. See? Thank you for... Because I couldn't get why. How can, if nobody wants it, as he says, nobody wants it, nobody does, they'd be buying millions of dollars of this across the state. And in this case, across the city. It's because zombies are buying it. Man, my chat is problem solved. Thank you for that, Phil. That is amazing. I do appreciate that.
That is something people are putting into their bodies, which means it's a good thing that these places are getting closed fast. But what's up?
Yeah, it's good you're getting closed fast. Even though he just said when they close one, they put 3 up, so it's doing absolutely nothing at all. I don't know what he's talking about. He contradicts himself in every single thing he says.
Also pretty insane is that these places have their own printing presses inside to make packaging. A lot of it...
What? They can make packaging. They get to have signs. They get to make packaging. They get to have a lease. They get to keep the lights on. This guy said all of those things. You were here for it. I'm not making any of this up. He said it. Yes. Think about that. They get to do that. And the government hasn't stopped them. You don't get to make packaging. You think you are. The FDA? Privileged people. To make packaging.
Brightly colored with exciting themes that looks like it's targeted towards people who might not be in their late 60s, which allows these...
Oh, you got to be in the late 60s to buy it. I didn't know that. Okay. Oh, my God. Phil, you're going to need some trouble. He says he has one, too. It can scan, copy, and print. I just messed up. I showed this. The cop's probably on their way right now. Phil, I'm sorry. I'll help bail you out. Because the cops are on the way right now. You should have not said you could. If you can scan, copy, and print, that means you could make labels and packaging. You can't do that. Who do you think you are, Phil? And it looks like from your profile picture, you got the lights on. You can't keep the lights on too. Lights on, printing. I bet you have a lease somewhere. Who do you think you are, Phil? Think you better than me? What you think? Getting tired of this. All right, maybe they're going to get you. Yeah. Morgan's like, printing presses? Like the Fed. Nicely done. Morgan. Nicely done. That was a good one. Well done. Dave says, marijuana is more dangerous than heroin and cocaine combined. And it'll make you play jazz music faster. I guess that's something good. So there's some good part to it, Dave. There we go. See, it's not all bad. So there's something.
places to create products that are sold all across the city, which look legitimate. They've got a high quality design. They've got high quality packaging. They look like the real deal, but they're actually more dangerous than anyone can imagine. But
here we just said, they are more dangerous than anyone can imagine. I'm sure glad this guy doesn't exaggerate at all. They're more, that packaging, once you put colors on packaging, it's basically chemical weapons. I mean, it's basically weapons of mass destruction. You become a monster. You are basically Saddam Hussein. The second that you do that, you're Saddam Hussein. That's how it works. You're Osama. That's how it works. The second you get that. It's true. He's right. You can't have colored packaging, okay? Then it's worse than anyone could imagine. Like whatever you're imagining, the pain and death and horror you're imagining, no, worse. Worse colored packaging. Then I got Phil up there with his colored packaging and printing and scanning. Lights on.
Sadly, like most of the crime that we've got flooding through our streets all over.
You have crime flooding through your streets. Why don't you focus on the crime flowing through the streets and not people buying weed? Just saying.
For the city, it exists because our laws don't think it's a big deal and don't seek to punish it so much as that they seek to actually protect it, which means that the communities and the people.
Okay, you've just said that they are being shut down fast and they're doing this so they do seek to punish. You just said they arrested people so they do seek to punish. But now you say they don't.
People who are being most hurt by this and the ones who are going out of their way to report this to police are fighting a battle they cannot win.
So far, they're reporting at least 75 stores have been closed. Nearly $6 million in penalties have been handed down.
Ah, there it is. Now we got it. $6 million in penalties. Boop. That's what it is. Yet again, I told you there was cash here. I told you it was a cash. I told you, yes. There we go.
And 3,800 violations, all issued. New York City Sheriff Anthony Miranda confirming authorities have close to 3,000 locations to investigate.
Violation.
3,000 locations to investigate. I told you there's over 10,000 of them, and they shut down 75.
Penalties, seizures. Okay, property gets confiscated.
Didn't you just say they don't want to punish?
People have to pay fines, but nobody's headed to jail. How do the police and the authorities here think they're going to beat a system that's making more money than the fines that are being?
So let me think about this for a second. You have a product that people really like, that they want to pay a lot of money for. And whatever fines and fees you put out, they can just keep selling anyway. I've never known what that is. So your answer then is to put people in jail, like to attack them almost like a war on this thing, like on drugs. So like a war on drugs. If only we had an example of that had lasted decades, that we could look at some data. Oh, wait, we do, and it failed. It failed, Nancy Reagan. It has failed, Nancy, okay?
Being levied against them. That's impossible. And although hundreds of these places are getting raided and closed down, we aren't hearing about hundreds of people filling up our prisons, which means anyone running.
See, if we just would put more people in prison, actually, we are hearing about hundreds of thousands of people filling up prisons, not just hundreds.
An illegal storefront is still out there on the street plotting their next move, which could be as simple as waiting a few weeks after your store gets shut down and then
another 2 stores shut down. Another set. Yes.
And moving to another vacant storefront nearby. The other issue that the authorities have is that tracking down the actual owners of these operations can be quite difficult. Because when you shut down a place and you catch people inside running it, they can say that they just work there and they'll probably get hit with low-level penalties. The actual owners of these places.
Oh, he's unhappy about that. They're low-level penalties. He wants to put the workers in jail. What could go wrong? He could put the workers in jail. That's a good deal,
probably
right?
take great steps to conceal their identities, especially if they're renting a business with the intent to pay in cash, with the intent to rent it under the name of a corporation or even a false name. The landlord might...
What? These corporations? You can't rent something as a corporation. You can't do that. Who would do that? Like, who would create some form of government-sponsored entity to do business in the United States? Nobody does that. Only criminals do that, okay? Only criminals who create a corporation and then do business in America. Only criminals do that. God.
Not have any idea who they're renting to, and they might not care as long as they're getting piles of money every month. And the other
that they just want the piles of money. Now, he just did a random row of buildings. This is during the day. What do you notice at these retail establishments during the day? They're all closed, except for one, the Subway, which, as I said, is a franchise. The owner of that Subway probably lives in Connecticut or Jersey or someplace else. He doesn't live in New York. Yeah, that's America. That's America right now. That's New York City. That's most cities, most small towns, closed. So now they found a way to raise money. They found a way to survive. And his answer is put them all in jail. Who's going to go to jail? Is it going to be the wealthy landlord? No. It's going to be the store owner. It's going to be the immigrant family. It's going to be the guy who literally either had an addiction problem or had a jail problem as a felon, and now trying to get back on his feet, who's working in one of these damn stores, trying to not get himself in trouble, and now he's going to go back to crime.
problem is the people running these illegal convenience stores might not even be in New York to begin with.
More than $57 million of illegal cannabis was seized in New York last year.
Okay, that's impossible. There is no way they can seize $57 million of cannabis because nobody wants it. He has told us this more than once. Nobody wants this. There is no way you could. These are the worst business people on the planet. They're buying $57 million of the product. It's going to sit there. No one's going to buy it. Everybody hates weed.
Mostly coming from states that legalized, but have seen their growing outpace heavily consumer demand. California, Michigan.
Okay.
So that means that in other states, they are making so much weed, and we want it here in New York, that we're buying weed outside of New York. Shame on us again. Do you know how many upstate farmers can grow weed? New York is very good when it comes to growing all hemp products. Doesn't matter. New York has a good enough climate, a very good climate, good soil for growing it. It's very good. New York State can grow it. So what are we doing? We're buying it from some other state. Why? Because we can't get the licenses to grow it. That's why they had those, what do you call it? Utensils, what do they call it? To grow things? Yes. Yes, because you can't get a license to grow either. There are farmers upstate New York right now who are literally dying. When I say literally, I mean they are putting shotguns in their mouth and pulling the trigger. Farmer suicide is real. Why aren't they growing? Because our Office of Cannabis Management is a goddamn joke, because our system is completely broken. And this guy's like, put him all in jail, get rid of him.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You've got other states that are creating the things that are being sold here illegally, and they make so much of it out of state that they've run out of customers.
So it's not an illegal product. So it's a safe product. You just said we got people just putting whatever in it. No, it's a legal, safe product in another state that now comes to our state because we are so broken, we won't just let our people actually grow it.
There are obviously lots of customers here in New York, and what do?
Whoa. He just said there's obviously lots of customers in New York. I thought you just said nobody wants it 3 times. You said nobody wants it 3 times. But now, obviously, people in New York want it. Yes.
They import that stuff here. They bring it to warehouses. They bring it to the basements of bodegas where they repackage it and sell it as who knows what mixed.
They sell it as who knows what. So hold on. I have a product that I know is legal and safe that comes from another state like Michigan or California. Comes into my store. People want it. I wrap it so I can white label it for myself. Why would I mess with it? Why would I take the time, money, and energy to doctor it in any way? That is time, money, and energy. Why would I do that? I'm a business owner. It's right there for me. I wrap it, sell it, wrap it, sell it, wrap it, sell it. There is no reason to doctor anything. And he has no evidence of anybody doctoring anything. Where was the other substances, he said? Did he find any? Did the cops say there was any? No, there wasn't any substances. He just made that up.
With who knows what else. And to anyone living in a community that is negatively affected by the presence of stores like this that sell things that might get into the hands of kids, one of the big...
Everything he just said was completely made up. Look at those storefronts. All of them are empty. That's destroying the system, not the weed store. You know, the weed store there is destroying the part of me. Kid might kill the kids. No kids are dying. Not a thing. Not a thing. And all the stores are closed. It's the middle of the day. Why are the stores closed? Because the economy is crashing. Because they can't afford anything. The industry that's working is the cannabis industry. And you want to shut that down. I don't understand this guy. I don't get it.
Revelations is that this is what happens when you decriminalize something that might not be good for people.
First off, they did not decriminalize. They didn't. They regulated the hell out of it. So he's wrong. And then might not be good for people. There's lots of things not good for people that you can smoke cigarettes. They're clearly bad for you. You can do it if you want to. Why can't you have weed if you want to?
And the fact that there's no penalty on the customer who buys an illegal product because that's been decriminalized is part of the...
Whoa. So now he wants the customers to go to jail. This guy wants everybody to go to jail. Damn, okay.
Problem, the customers that are coming to these places and supporting them, nothing happens to them either. Now, legislatively, the decriminalization of certain substances in this city has already happened. That cat is out of the bag. It's not going back in. But the city has a new plan to help try and fight these stores from popping up, and that is finding the landlords. Like, look, you got all these vacant storefronts right here. Landlords can't rent them out. Some guy comes along.
Okay, so literally, you're a landlord. You are losing money. You can't rent your space. Why? Because of this stupid thing right here. All of these, all what you see right there, all of the scaffolding. Because the stupid local 11 law they made that makes everybody owning anything even do more work because somebody like got hit by a brick like 30 years ago, or whatever. So this, because of all the regulations, because of all the taxes, because of all the crime that's actually happening, not that other crime is happening. So all the stores are leaving. So you can't get people to rent. So what's New York's answer? You find a way to get a renter. So the market gives you a way to get a renter with the product that is safe coming from other states for people who want to buy and create jobs. What's the government going to do? Fine you more. That's the answer. And Cash is like, that's a great idea. That's good. Put them all in jail.
With a fancy fur coat and says, hey, man, I'll give you thousands of dollars a month and just let me run my convenience store here. Well, if that convenience store turns out to be one of these illegal places and they're selling chicken wings and other stuff along with them, the city will actually now be able to fine the landlord up to $50,000 per instance if they've called for one of these places to get shut down and the landlord has not gone through with an eviction proceeding against that business. But
So the answer is more laws, not to fix the economy, not to make it easier for us to do business. The answer is make it harder. And why did I bring this up? You might go, Larry, this is one guy and he's nuts. No, there are literally thousands of New Yorkers who think just like him.
Problem there is it costs the landlord money, and maybe they don't necessarily know that a criminal wants to be their tenant.
Yes!
I'll admit that's definitely a stretch. If you rent to somebody who turns out to be a criminal, you probably didn't do your due diligence on them. But
so now if someone's a criminal, wow. The
reason this is such a massive problem with these illegal shops popping up all over the place.
It's a massive problem. How? What's the massive problem? It doesn't bring crime. He showed no evidence of that. It doesn't break up families. No evidence of that. It doesn't kill people. No evidence of that. Doesn't put them in a hospital. No evidence of that. Nobody's complaining except for Karen. No evidence of that. Tens of millions of dollars going back and forth in local communities. That's a good thing. What's the problem?
It's just because New York has decided that it's going to take this type of crime and punish it the same way it does everything else by not punishing it. And what that
so New York has decided to not punish crime because it doesn't punish any crimes. He just expressed and watched cops go in punishing people. He's just telling you how now they're going to punish landlords. He's expressed 17 ways they punish people, and he goes, and they don't punish him. Why? Because in his eyes, either you go to prison for 30 years or you're basically unpunished.
Fortunately means is that when Boar's Head is no longer paying the bills and the rent, it might be time to sell something else, especially if the...
Yes, that is literally how the market works, isn't it? Yes. If you don't want to buy Boar's Head, you might want to buy something else. And maybe that's weed, or maybe it's soda, or maybe it's Doritos, or whatever you like. The people around you in your neighborhood for your Lincoln Gourmet Deli like certain things. You should probably sell those things, the things that they like. If that's Boar's Head, whatever, salami, awesome. Doesn't matter. Sell what they want.
People operating one of these little convenience stores only have a few months left on their lease anyways. What have they got to lose? The worst thing that happens to them is they spend money on a new sign that claims that now they're a smoke shop, which isn't exactly selling tobacco products. They operate for a few months, they make as much money as they can, and then they vanish. Or worst case, the authorities roll.
Yes. Why do they do that? Why do they roll in, make as much money as they can, and vanish? That's not easy to do. That's a pain in the ass. Because it's illegal. If you made it legal, they would just stay there and make money.
Shut them down and hit them with a fine that just comes out of their profits, which reveals the real reason that we've got such a problem with these. We've got laws in this city that don't stamp out crime. Instead, they reward it by creating low-risk, high-reward opportunities for people who 20 years ago would have been in the back of a police car, but now they're living...
See that? We got to go back to 20 years ago. That's the answer. Just go back, because that was working then.
Is that what's happening? Are the laws we have here in this city the reason we have this problem? Will the city...
Not at all horrible. I mean, just I wanted to show you that because it drove me crazy. So it did. I got one more I want to show you. But first, guys, click the like button. If you like what I'm saying, you like what I'm doing, click that button. If you haven't, it's because you hate me, and hope you don't hate me because I don't hate you. If you're watching on Twitter right now, retweet this. Click that, or whatever, re-X it, repost it. Do that right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you can, if you want to, super chat me if you like. Love to have you super chatting. That'd be awesome. And become a member, you can. More membership means I do more of this. I do less working because I have more members. So you want to do more shows, you could do that. And then all of a sudden, I don't have to work as much. That could work. Absolutely. But if you can, please click that like button. It does matter. You can also super chat me. So I know that was bad. And you might say, Larry, could it be worse? Yes, it could. It absolutely could be worse. I won't go too long on this one because you'll get this one pretty fast. But this was like 2 days later. So it's similar, but he's talking about how tough things are. And again, to be forward, the things he says are true. They are true, like they're accurate. It's just his answers. Wow. His answers are all about punishment. This guy is all about punishment.
The NYPD announcing another major crackdown. There will now be checkpoints at the bridges, tunnels, and major roadways to confiscate illegal scooters. Hundreds of illegal scooters.
So here we have another moped-related crackdown. This one comes after a gang member assaulted the police while riding one. But this is...
So hold on. The video we just saw, which was like a day or two before this one, the world was ending because weed stopped stores. But now he's saying, well, it's crime spree with mopeds. If there's a crime spree with mopeds, why do you care about the weed stores? Stop the crime spree, which is getting rid of CVS's. Do that.
The second crackdown in as many months, suggesting...
Wait a minute. It's the second crackdown. Hold on. That can't be true. Because that would mean that stricter, harsher laws don't work. And you are a proponent of stricter, harsher laws.
This new wave of crime foreign to our city streets is not only here to stay, but is growing.
Some might call that the sweet sound of justice, the crunching of more than 200 illegal mopeds.
The sweet sound of justice, destroying millions of dollars of private property. That's what this is. People bought these. Whoever bought them, they bought them. And now you've destroyed them. Literally, we are destroying them.
There's murderers on these bikes. There are shooters on these bikes.
There's murderers on these bikes and shooters on these bikes. These bikes are full of shooters and murderers. Yeah? Where?
Is on these bikes. Reckless drivers.
Yeah, the mopeds have gotten out of control. Bad guys have been utilizing them again as escape vehicles. They're using them to sneak up on victims. They've committed robberies, burglaries, assaults.
So robberies and burglaries, which by the way is up in New York, right? New York, there are definitely more of them. That's true. Yes, 100%. So that's accurate. So why do we care about weed shops?
One example happened just this week. Police say it happened after they were addressing a robbery pattern and tried to pull over the suspect on a scooter, headed the wrong way.
We removed more than 41,000 illegal motorized scooters, mopeds, ATVs, 41,000.
Why are you proud of that? Think about that. We removed 41,000. Are you telling me, first off, all 41,000 were used for crimes? Of course not. So you took a bunch of people who just bought scooters and didn't know whether they need to have a license or not, whatever, and they just lost their property. That's, you guarantee, what, 10%, 20%, whatever that number is. And if you got 41,000, and this is your second crackdown, it wasn't enough, maybe it's not the scooters. Maybe it's an underlying issue. Maybe it is not the scooters.
The criminal population has been emboldened. I mean, it stems from defund the police. They want to resist arrest. They want to fight off police.
They want to resist arrest. They want to fight the police. It's from that's not true. None of everything he said is true. None of that's true.
So now, as these illegal vehicles get crushed, the city hopes so too do plans to commit more crime.
New York City's moped problems keep getting worse. Okay, it's not as bad.
Another crackdown on mopeds has just taken place, and it won't be the last. Because what nobody's talking about is that just 2 years ago, New York City didn't have moped crime, which means somehow this crime wave has suddenly come upon us. And
I know. It's weird, right? I remember there's two things that shocked me. I remember back around 2019, there was hardly any crime, relatively, in New York City. Hardly any. Then around 2020 and 2021, all of a sudden, tons of crime. What happened? Oh, right, government lockdowns. I remember that. Then it started getting better, if you remember. We started getting better for a while. Then around 2023, 2024, it started getting bad again. And we started having these scooter problems. What happened in New York? Oh, right, 200,000 migrants. Did we forget that? 200,000 migrants that we had no answer for at all. And all of a sudden, now there's a crime wave. Larry, you saying migrants committing crimes? They are. That's not racist. That's not sexist. That's nothing. That's just true. It's a fact. A lot of people who are committing crimes are part of migrant gangs. That's a fact. Not trying to be mean about it. You know, I'm not anti-migrant. I wish we had a plan for them. We don't. And again, if 1% are bad, and I'll say that 99% of migrants are wonderful, awesome people. 1% aren't. With 200,000 of them, that's 2,000 criminals. Now, here's the worst part. If just those 2,000 criminals are doing bad things, we now have a system to where if you're arrested once, okay. If you're arrested 80 times, 15, I'm exaggerating, but literally, if you are arrested 12, 14 times, you just come back out and you still can't work. So there's 200,000 people who can't work. 2,000 of them, if 1% are bad, are actually bad. So what do those bad people do? They recruit the people who can't work. So there's more bad people. Yet again, you've set up a system to create gangs. And then you have gangs. You're shocked. I can't believe we have gangs. You made a system for gangs. Now, not just that. Since these gang leaders now can recruit migrants, they can also recruit young other people, like young New Yorkers who don't have jobs or lost their job because all the stores are shut down. So they can be recruited too. So now it isn't just migrants. Yeah. Shocked.
It doesn't look like it's going to go away anytime soon. Critics will point to the asylum crisis, which has seen 200,000 people pass through New York City, with many new arrivals unable to work unless it's a delivery job that requires a moped and someone else's rented identity.
Note, that requires a moped. Yes. We literally gave them the situation and we're shocked. I wonder why they're doing it. We didn't give them any other option. They can't work any other place. Right? Literally what Phil says, they're shut out of the main economy. Yes, they have no choice but that. So we let them in and then had no answer. What? Terrible.
insanity, which is why up until recently, every shelter in the city had a sea of illegal mopeds parked out front. But not so fast. Recent crackdowns have meant that these bikes have gotten into compliance, with pretty much all of them now having license plates. And the explanations for this rise in moped crime might be much simpler. We're in a down economy with sky-high inflation and a lousy job market in a progressive...
Again, look at all of these places closed. 3 in a row closed. Again, this is New York City. It's closed everywhere. I wonder why people are doing crime and stuff. There's nothing to do. We've literally set up a system where we've got crime bosses coming in and we've given them an army. And we wonder why there's gang violence.
City that doesn't punish theft. Are we really supposed to believe that all of those problems combined with a lawless environment won't result in a crime wave? Not to mention the police, every time they arrest a criminal, the charges get dropped and that criminal gets released, leaving...
Every time. Hear what he said? He never exaggerates. Every time that the cops arrest somebody, the charges get dropped and they're back on the street. That's what he said. Yeah, doesn't exaggerate at all.
Local law enforcement with only one option. If they can't crush the criminals who steal our iPhones and handbags while riding mopeds, maybe they can just crush the mopeds instead, which is what they're trying to do, although that's not working. Which is why it's no surprise that we're now on moped.
Wait a minute. It's almost like moped control doesn't work. Huh. If only there was some other program or policy that we've tried to see if that's worked. Huh. Like, if only we're saying that they're using mopeds to commit crimes. What other thing have they used to commit crimes? Oh, right, guns. They use guns to commit crimes too. So obviously, if we just restrict a gun, oh, wait. Yeah. Prohibition doesn't work. The problem was we let 200,000 migrants into our state without a plan at all. And then we wonder what happened. Then we have a broken economy where there's no jobs. No, I'm not him. Where there are so few jobs for our youth. So our youth have few jobs, and we let in 200,000 migrants without a plan. Those two things are the problem. Yeah. And now, of course, what happens? It spreads. It spreads. So now we got guys who figure out how to do it in New York, and they go to Albany, or they go to Newark, or they go to Boston, or they go to New Haven, or wherever. Syracuse. They go wherever.
Crackdown number 2. And the real reason we've got this crime wave is because even though the city says they don't want it, the laws here encourage it. Because if the cops take your
the laws encourage it. That's the problem. Everything I just said and that he agreed with is not true. It's because we need more people in prison. Gulags will solve the problem, you people. Get it?
You can just buy another one for $1,200. There's
what? Wait a minute. Okay. Last video, he's saying you could just have a business. You could just have a lease. You can keep your lights on. You could print stuff. Now he's saying you can just buy a moped? What? Can't believe you people get to do all these things.
There's no requirement that you need to register it at the time you buy it.
What?
And if $1,200 is too much for you, just visit any shelter in town and hotwire another one. This is what keeps happening. This is why the problem is growing. And it's why what the thieves are now doing with these mopeds keeps getting worse.
That's the reason. It's because you're allowed to buy mopeds and the government doesn't control you. That's the if only government would control you, then we'd be fine. That's the issue. Now at least I feel better about this.
So here we are at the local moped jail, which is full of every illegal vehicle the police can get their hands on. Many of these vehicles are just too illegal to have on the road to begin with. Others should have been registered.
Just too illegal to have on a road. I mean, just too illegal. You know, you can't have them on the road.
They weren't. That's why they're in jail now. And others were used to commit much more serious types of crime.
The NYPD announcing another major crackdown. The mayor saying there will now be checkpoints at the bridges, tunnels, and major roadways to confiscate illegal scooters.
What could go wrong with checkpoints? Where's your papers for your bike? Where's the papers? What could go wrong? Nothing could go wrong. That is a perfect plan. It won't slow down traffic. Yes, it will. It won't make the city worse off. Yes, it will. And guess what criminals will avoid? Checkpoints. So what it will do is what it always does. It will punish the people who have their bikes legally or punish the people who didn't know they have to have a bike. Some kind of paperwork, or punish people who bought it thinking it was good. So good people will be punished. That's how that always works. And the people who legally have to do, they will take their moped, and you see this. They'll take their moped into the subway. Yes. So you can get to, say, Manhattan or Brooklyn or wherever by taking a bridge or a tunnel if you want to. Or you take your moped literally into the subway, and they do it, and they go through the subway into the Manhattan or Brooklyn. That's how they'll begin to avoid these checkpoints. They're already doing it. This is just the way to harass people. And again, more virtual signaling, no real evidence.
So you might be wondering if these chariots of doom are the perfect vehicles for...
Damn, chariots of doom. I thought they were scooters. I was wrong. Chariots of doom. You can't buy those. Anybody can buy a chariot of doom. What is going on in this world?
Criminals, and they can weave in and out of traffic and go really fast and go the wrong way. How do police get them? Well, the crackdowns that result in these things being confiscated happen in one of two ways. First way that it happens is when someone is going over the bridge. You are not supposed to ride your moped, which is gas-powered, on the bridge. That's for pedal vehicles only, yet people do it all the time. Police can easily set up a checkpoint at the bottom of the bridge and stop you when you get off. It's a very narrow path. It's hard to escape. And many of the times when police confiscate an illegal vehicle, they find other things. Perhaps the bike has been modified in a way that makes it completely unsafe. Maybe it doesn't.
What? So hold on. Okay, Phil, I know you're going to be upset. You're going to fight me on this one, but I got to tell you, you can own property that you bought and you're going to modify it? What? I mean, what are we going to let people do? They get to buy them, and then when they spend their money to own the property, we can't let them also modify it. That's inhuman. I don't understand what we're doing. The funny part is he's serious. He is literally serious about the entire
have a
thing.
license plate when it's supposed to, or maybe the driver doesn't have a license, which he's supposed to. Under the seat, maybe something is hidden that the driver should not possess. There's a lot of what ifs, but this basic action, enforcing regular traffic laws and an obvious violation, riding a moped over the bridge, police say this is working, and that's good because...
Whoa, police say it. That means it's true, right? I mean, if police have been asking us to put more people in jail, it's true. It's true.
This is a relatively new type of crime that is exploding in veracity.
Yeah, the mopeds have gotten out of control. Bad guys have been utilizing them, again, as escape vehicles. They're using them to sneak up on victims. If you've been in New York City lately, you've seen the mopeds are traveling the wrong way on streets, on the sidewalks, and not just criminals. We're talking about, like, regular delivery people. And when...
So you heard it there. Moped crime, it looks totally foreign to New York City because this wasn't something that was happening just 2 years ago. But over the last couple of years, the number of mopeds in the city has exploded. Yes, they're used by asylum seekers, but that's not the problem. The problem is the bad guys see delivery riders and normal everyday people breaking pretty much every law in the books on these things. And let's say you're a criminal. If you're looking for ways to break the law and you see other people breaking the law and getting away with it in the most obvious of methods, riding the wrong way or riding on the sidewalk, you're going to think to yourself, gee, I could do that and get away with it too. Proving that allowing a lawless environment to exist fosters crime and emboldens those who wish to cause the rest of us harm. And this type of crime is so out of control that even the city's dumbest.
If you let people ride mopeds, basically we're all going to die. I would agree. He's right.
Stupidest criminals will eventually figure out they can get their own moped with 0 plates and use it to ride around and rob people.
Yeah, the criminal population has been emboldened. I mean, it stems from defund the police. They want to resist arrest. They want to fight off police officers.
Okay, they don't want to resist arrest and fight. They want to just make money. I'm not. Okay, I want to be clear. I'm not defending the criminals. I'm not. I'm just saying this is just more. Be afraid. It's more of that.
Take off on these mopeds. So we've seen videos of police officers trying to apprehend them, and they're just taking off, endangering the public.
So obviously, it's not the moped that's the problem. It's the rider on the moped. It's the
So guns don't kill people. People kill people. I'm just saying. Did I just hear that? Did he make an epiphany? It's not the moped's fault. I would agree. It's the criminal's fault. That's true. Yes. Okay, wait. We may have gone. Okay. Stay with me, guys. This might have Morgan. He might have gone. Okay. This is a good sign. Come on. Cash. Stay with us, brother. You can do this.
A felon flying around on these things that thinks he can do whatever he wants. And let's be honest, the only way this problem could get so out of hand with thousands of these things riding around, committing hundreds of traffic violations and breaking hundreds of rules every hour of the day is just general lack of enforcement. That's the only way. And New Yorkers upset about rising moped crime would do well to decide to fund their police department so that the police...
Wait. No, you blew it, Cash. You were doing it. He said it's not it's the criminals. So how do we fix this? By cracking down on the mopeds. We have to fund the police. We're funding the police. New York City's police department is over $6 billion a year. They're funded. They'll be fine. There's like 30,000 cops? Yeah.
Would have more resources to catch these criminals and get these things off the streets. And what you're looking at, this lawless, out-of-hand situation, it's only because the police are understaffed. Had there been more...
That's the reason. See, more cops solves every problem. It isn't the system that has allowed 200,000 migrants to come here without being able to work with no problem, and then encouraging those who are bad guys by giving them literally an army of people to be in their gangs, and then shutting down our city, all our local stores, so there's no goddamn work, so that now even native New Yorkers can now join these gangs and work the same way. It's not that. It's just more cops. That's just more cops. God, you were on your way.
Or police on the streets. You could have checkpoints at every bridge every day. You could conduct
checkpoints at every bridge every day.
Sweeps of areas of the city where these things are normally parked to check registrations and see if license plates match the bikes there.
There are your papers every day, every corner. We could put every corner. I love it. We'll give them, so that you can see them, we'll give them armbands. This way you can see them, right? It'll be easy so you can see them. And we'll call them scooter security. So the SS. And we'll put that maybe like on their hats, right? We'll do that. We'll have an armband, and then they'll put the SS on the hat. And we don't want people to die, right? Because that would be evil. So we know that. So we'll put a skull and crossbones on the hat with SS and an armband. What could go wrong? That's a great idea. Maybe we'll give them special uniforms so you don't get confused. Maybe like black. Maybe we'll ask Hugo Boss to maybe design some. What could go wrong? And the armbands, we'll just make sure with the armbands that we'll use some colors that work well. People could see like red and white and black. We'll put those colors on the armband. This is going to be just fine, right? And so that we know, so you'll know how to get them to stop. They'll do a simple salute. Like maybe they'll raise their right hand like this, and then you'll know that you should go to them. This is going to go well. This is a really good idea. I think nothing could go wrong whatsoever. Nothing
could go wrong. Attached to. Yet at the same time, all of this is going on, and we're all witnesses to it with our own two eyes. Criminal sympathizers in our midst keep telling us that crime.
Criminal sympathizers in our midst. These people need to be rooted out. They need to be rooted out. I completely agree. We can use these scooter security, the SS, to root out these people. Yeah, what could go wrong?
Crime is down. This is all.
You know what? The problem is, since they're sympathizers, here's the problem. We are going to have to take these people because what they lack is focus. So we'll put them in the camps so they can concentrate better, right? We'll put them in the concentration camps. That's what we'll do. That will be fine. Nothing can go wrong. The SS will put these people who don't focus well into camps for their concentration. This will be fine. This guy's got the plan. You got the plan, Cash. We are in.
All made up. It's just a farce. But tell that to the two officers who went to the hospital last week after trying to stop a gang member who was riding one of these.
See that? See, Phil knows. Phil says a criminal in his attic and was keeping a diary. I know. I may do the same thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on this one, brother. Well done. Nicely done.
Officials say that not only are these vehicles illegal or unregistered, but they're also used often in the committing of crimes. 19-year-old Bernardo Raul Castromata was arraigned this morning. Police say it happened after they were addressing a robbery pattern and tried to pull over the suspect on a scooter.
So there you go. Every crime in the book, all in one scene. The suspect was part of it.
Every crime in the book. This guy did all of the crimes on a scooter. He did all of the crimes in the scooter. That's amazing. All of the crimes, every one of them. Bank robbery in a scooter. Pedophilia is a scooter. Necrophilia, it was on a scooter. Every crime in the book, every one of them. Adultery, they did them all. Murder, did every one of them books, everyone.
Gang, they had a weapon and they were riding a moped while breaking traffic laws. Had the police not been prevented from enforcing basic traffic laws in the past, this gentleman may not have been.
See, the problem is the police have been prevented, as he just said, from enforcing basic traffic laws. Cops can't write tickets anymore in New York State. They can't do it. They've been prevented. What is he talking about? Everything he just said is made up.
As emboldened as he once was, which caused him not only to break the law, but also to attack the police because he felt entitled to breaking the law. And when you let law...
Oh, so he attacked the police because he felt entitled to break the law. That's the reason. Now I know why we attack cops.
Go unenforced for as long as we have here in the city. It should be no surprise that criminals feel upset and are offended when the police confiscate their illegal bikes. But this brings up a big question. If the problem of moped crime is out of control now, and these criminals are now so numerous and so pervasive that they're giving NYC's finest a run for their money, what can our city do to get these criminals off the streets and into the back?
Maybe we could change the system, right? We could actually fix the system, right? Deal with the migrant crisis, deal with the criminal element within the migrant crisis, deal with the criminal element within our actual now native-born Americans who are here now too, because they have no work, figure out how that works, fix our economy. We could do all that, or...
Of these police cars where they belong. Or is it...
Oh, put them in the back of the police cars. Okay, no, I was thinking something that made sense. Okay, no, sorry. No, he was right.
Already too late.
Authorities say they are also being used by food delivery workers.
We will be bringing in all of the delivery companies, our restaurants, our bids, to tell them they have to also police themselves. No one should be delivering from a restaurant on an illegal scooter.
The mayor.
See that? So the system sucks. The system's bad. We made terrible decisions, him included. So the answer is, punish the businesses more. Note how every time it's punish businesses more. You're a local pizzeria. You're a local diner. You have delivery. Now you're going to be responsible. What will happen? Fines and fees. Of course, more fines, more fees. You just made this a goddamn profit center. You made it. This is why everything becomes an industrial complex. The military industrial complex. Everything becomes an actual scam to produce money for their cronies. This too. Same thing.
Also targeting.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. That could have a positive impact on this massive problem. A problem much bigger than the gang that was operating across New York, New Jersey, and Miami, where the leader was arrested just a couple of months ago.
And that leader, yes, migrant, as I told you. Look, I'm not anti-migrant. You know I'm not. I'm anti-migrant with no plan, which is what we did. And on top of that, now there are, of course, bad elements within migrants, of course, because there are bad elements anywhere. We emboldened them. We gave them the perfect storm, and we wonder why they're winning. This is why.
The first and most obvious question here is, why are delivery workers using illegal vehicles to earn a living? Maybe they're using them because they're faster and cheaper than any other alternative. Or perhaps the owners of these vehicles are unaware of the rules. They bought them and didn't know they were supposed to register them or have a license. Both of those could be true, but the more likely option is that this is just the cheapest, fastest way to go places. After all, these things are gas-powered. You can just park them on the street and leave them on the side of the road until you need to get it. But with a battery-powered bike, you can't really do that. This thing will be dead if you don't charge it up every day or so. But despite the convenience that's at stake here, a crackdown focused on how delivery companies, delivery apps, restaurants use these things or allow people to use them, that might really work. Because
it might really work. But think about this. Who pays for that? Who pays for that? If you're out there ordering food, now it's more expensive. If you're the store, now it's more expensive. And if you're the delivery person, now it's more expensive. You have hurt nobody.
Every delivery rider in town is hooked up to Uber Eats or Grubhub. The driver's got the phone app. It has GPS. That means Uber Eats can tell how long it takes for you to get from point A to point B. And it'll be obvious if you're on your journey to make some sort of delivery and you're reaching speeds that are far and above what your bike should be capable of. The app could always shut you down until you verify that whatever.
Wow. So now it's going to modify your speed and shut you down. What could go wrong with that?
As your riding is valid, registered, and legal. Would that make things tougher for app companies? Yes. Would it make things tougher for people at the bottom of the city's economic ladder? Yes, it would. Yes. That's unfortunate. But there might be an even simpler.
Wow. He doesn't even care. He admits it. Would that hurt the people who, the mom and pop store owners? Yes. Would up the people who are the poorest in the city? Yes, but whatevs. Whatevs. What are you going to do? Someone got to, look, them prisons are not going to fill themselves. So let's just do this.
Or a way to get these things off the streets before they even hit the streets, yet the city's dragging its feet on this one, which doesn't really make sense.
Where do you go with this one?
So as you can see, quite a few mopeds still roaming around on the street, out there, doing whatever they want. Let's assume these license plates on these bikes are real, but there's a way to make sure that they're all legitimate bikes, legally registered, before they hit the streets, not after.
Because it would require either the dealer or the retailer to register a moped. Now, we've all seen it. A rider on a moped blowing past a red light or even going the wrong way on a street without a...
Yeah, and the thing is, if you just registered him, that guy would not do that. What? Yeah, because you know what? What's wrong with registering things? We should register them all. What could go wrong?
License plate. Right, that's the issue. For some reason, you can buy a motor vehicle in this city and drive it around without any lawful obedience. You can't do that with...
What? Lawful obedience? This guy, you really about following the rules. You must follow them. Yes. Wow. What's your last name? You sure? Doesn't sound. Hickengruber, maybe? I don't know. Something's up. I think you got the wrong last name. That's fine.
Car. With these bikes, you can buy one and drive it away, and you're supposed to go get it in compliance later.
What? You can buy a bike and drive away? What have we become? Oh, my God.
I guess. And a system that lets people get away with breaking the law and tells them to go obey it later is never going to work. Yet for some reason, this law hasn't passed yet, even though it was introduced in October of last year. Apparently, this thing has passed the Senate. Now it just needs to go to the governor for her signature, which would be nice because right now there's no accountability for how these are used. And look at this.
There's no accountability for how these are used. What he just said. The stuff he says, he just says stuff. I don't know if he even thinks about it. If you registered it, would you magically not do illegal stuff anymore? Right? So if I'm a criminal and as he said, I just steal it, take it, buy it, whatever. So now it's registered. So now, damn it, now it's registered. Guess I'm not a criminal anymore. I was going to rob you, but I had to register my moped. So, what are you going to do? Okay. What's wrong with him?
Van over here. It might cost less than some of these mopeds, but even it's in compliance. It's got a plate, and you can't blame criminals for committing crimes on these mopeds if they can tell that obviously the city doesn't take their enforcement seriously. And the reason they've been the perfect getaway vehicle,
or you could just get the criminals
for a long time, is not only, again, can they drive really quickly where they're not supposed to, we don't even know who's riding these things. No plate, the person's wearing a helmet, they're covered up. Anybody could be on these.
The legislation.
Anybody! These are random people. Only certain people should be riding mopeds, right? I mean, yeah.
Is modeled after the current law of regular four-wheeled vehicles. If the unregistered riders followed the law, everyone would be better off.
It's just unsafe in the long run. It's putting
that seems so basic, yet it's probably part of the reason why the illegal proliferation of these has been happening. Now, of course, these laws won't stop you from going to New Jersey, buying a moped, and then riding it back here across the bridge. But
So it's funny how he admits that his shit won't work. Yeah, it doesn't stop you from doing the bad thing. At all. You started with the idea that, it's not it's not the mopeds, it's the people. Then you spent the entire thing talking about the mopeds. Talk about the problem.
The more of these are brought into compliance, the nail that sticks out will get hammered. And if your bike doesn't have a plate, police are going to see it and something's going to go wrong. But the real question here is if this passes, is the city even going to enforce it? For example, in this city, we've got 3.5-year minimums if you're found with a firearm, yet most of the time those charges get dropped when someone's caught with a firearm. And that's the thing. If we pass a law, but then everybody who gets apprehended under it, if the judges and DA drop the charges, downgrade the charges, basically erase any record that a crime was committed, we're still going to have all of the exact same types of crime. Plus, you can steal these and just take the plates off. Or better yet, just keep the plate on it. Now it's registered.
Yes! You literally just said that it's not going to work. Like, you just said it's not going to work, but you just advocated for it for 5 minutes and then said it's not going to work. Yes. I don't know why you made this video. Like, were you bored? You were like, I need to put some content up. I'm just going to talk out of my ass for like 10 minutes and just put a video up because I got to put a video up. I think that's what happened. Yeah, I think that's right. Yes. That's very good. Phil says the solution is to outlaw helmets so we know who's riding. See that? Yes. And also, Phil, we should make people have to wear signs that have their full name and social security number on it so that we know exactly who you are. Facial recognition plus social security number and full name. We did this. That's good. Now we're good. Okay. Now we're fine. Okay. That's good. We got that down. We've solved the problem. Me and you, Phil.
Like in countries like Brazil, these perps are not immune to looking at what is useful, what's successful in other countries. They have mopeds all over the city that you can rent. They don't even have to own them. They can rent them and they can dump them whenever they need it. So it's accessible. So why not?
Okay, this brings up another issue that's worth examining because a lot of times the person riding one of these isn't the person who owns it, and they wouldn't be the person who's tied to the registration and the license plate on the vehicle. And this is why you see so many bikes outside the shelters. They're actually part of a scheme to allow people to work without work authorization. The way it works is somebody who wants a job can go to the owner of the bike and rent from them the bike itself, along with an Uber Eats account that they can work under. And let me ask you a question. If someone borrows your moped and then commits a crime with it, or maybe even if they run a red light, do you want to get tied back to that? Of course not, which is why there's such an incentive to try and hide from the law when you're using these. He was going the wrong way. And sadly, this brings us to the point in our story where we have to realize that the city has no way of stopping these bikes. So look at this little chart here on the DMV website. Every class of moped, even the really slow ones, you're all required to have a driver's license. And then some, like the really fast ones that we're looking at today, these all require a motorcycle license. Plus, look at this. They all have insurance requirements for the most part. And the problem with this new law is that even though it might prevent the sale of these things when they're not registered, it's going to be pretty hard to ask the criminal underworld in this city to give up its profit from renting these things out, which they've gotten used to doing because we don't enforce crime here.
When they get arrested,
we don't enforce crime.
They tell their other...
We don't enforce crime. I'm going to wrap that part up. That part I'm going to wrap up. He just went back to, yes. So I do want to bring on one piece before I go. I know I beat him up a lot this show. I know I did. But Rebecca brings up a good point. She says, came here late, Larry. To be fair, he takes both sides. He just shines a spotlight to problems in the city. He's critical about shoplifting, immigrant crisis, and the police reform that doesn't keep people in jail. Yes. Many things Cash has put out have been good. They've been very forward. But these last couple ones have been insane. And I often watch his stuff. I probably watch every other video or so whenever they pop up on my YouTube. I do watch his stuff here or there. So I absolutely do. And he has some good stuff. Not these last couple. Oh my God, they were terrible. And that's why I showed them. But yes, you can go back and look. To be fair, I did put his link in both Facebook and YouTube. If you want to watch it, feel free, watch his stuff. He's got a lot of stuff people are watching, obviously. So yes, absolutely. So Phil says free Dexter Taylor. I agree. Yes, absolutely, 100%. We should. But no, wait a minute. He can't be in jail because Cash has told us they don't enforce crimes. Maybe they do. All righty. By the way, click the button that is like. Click that like button. It does matter. Please do that. If you're watching this on Twitter, I need you to retweet this right now. Please do it. Every little bit counts. If you want to super chat me, you can. Membership does matter. If you want to click that join button on YouTube, do that. It makes everything better no matter what. But I'm going to ask you one big favor. When this is over, after this live stream is over, please go back to wherever you watch it, whether it's Facebook, whether you watch it on Twitter, YouTube, wherever you watched it, head on back after it's over and leave a comment. You know who likes that? We all know who likes that. Al Gore Rhythm. He likes that very much. So since he likes it, let's make him happy and come back after and leave that comment. I will read them and I'll even respond. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for this evening. I will be on tomorrow around 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern. And then again, hopefully in the evening, I'm trying to get back doing some shows. I've been traveling for a bit, but I won't be traveling for several weeks, so I should be able to do it. I will see you all very soon.